So there's been a lot of questions about whether working as a contractor or working in a permanent job is better for a business analyst, and to be fair, in other careers as well. I know I see trainings that say, oh, after, training and when you're trying to transition into being a business analyst, you can get as much as £400, £600, £700 a day. And that's contracting. So today I want to talk about the advantages of contracting and then disadvantages. And then we go into advantages of having a permanent job and then what we call the disadvantages as well. So stay tuned and find out while we talk about it. So welcome back, guys. One of the questions I get, maybe not get asked on social media, but personally, is about, should I contract? Am I ready to contract? And also, should I remain in my permanent job or should I start job hunting with a permanent job? And my answer varies on the person because a lot of things go into play. Years of experience, confidence, also the shaky aspects of, either of the two. So I thought it would be very lovely to do a video about comparing contracting and a permanent job. Now, I'm talking about my experience, so please, if your experience has been different for you, I'm telling you about my experience because I've done both. And as always, I put some note down and I was staring at my iPad and then talking through it with you. So let's go in alphabetical order and start with C. For those who don't know, contracting is when you're a sole business owner and you're a business owner. It doesn't have to be sole business. You're a business owner and then you go out and look for jobs. Now, these jobs may be, in some cases, you may be a sole business owner where you're the only owner of the company and you go to look for jobs. They usually pay per day. Some, very few may pay per hour, but most of them in the UK pay per day. So you have a daily earning. Now, there are some subtle differences about this, which we'll kind of touch on as we're talking about the advantages and disadvantages. Or you generally own your own company and you go out and seek for jobs, some people call it bids, you seek for bids, and then if you get the job, you're working as a contractor now. This means you are working for the organization, but you're not part of the organization, so you don't get the perks that employees working for that organization would get. Just also a tiny bit of introduction as well. As a contractor in the UK, IR35 was introduced, I think, in 2018-19. It started first with the public sector and then went into the private sector as well. And so IR35, I'm not going to go into all the details. I'll leave something for you to see. But in very layman terms and in very short words, IR35, if you're working inside IR35, you have to work through an umbrella company that pays your taxes for you before the money comes to you. So you earn £500 a day, you accumulate it at the end of the month or the week, depending on how you're paid and your payment agreement. And then they take their taxes from you before it's paid to you. And then if you're working outside IR35, you pay your taxes yourself. So you'd have to get an accountant, or if you're very good with the books, you'll do it yourself. And at the end of the financial year, you have to pay the taxes yourself. The advantages outside IR35 is that you can do your deductibles. So maybe your office space if you rent, your car if you have to drive to your place of contract, because it is a business, remember. So there's some claimables, some VAT claimables. You can, if you bought a computer, if you use an office laptop, all those kind of things can be claimed. So yeah, so there are those two, inside IR35 and outside IR35. But I'm going to just talk about contracting in general today. I'm not going to necessarily specify. I may give examples and state some of them, but it's generally just going to be contracting. I'm not going to say, oh, IR35, inside, outside. I may mention, like I said, but it's not focused on that today. So I've listed out the advantages of being a contractor. And I think one of the big ones everybody says that gets our eye bulging and the torchlight eye is better remuneration, better salary. That's just the truth. You have a better salary, and you would typically earn higher in your payments than somebody who has a permanent role. Now, I say typically because this is not all the time. Contracting can start from as low as £100 per day £200 per day to as high as £1,000 per day, 1,500 per day, just and go up as that. And as we know, there are some employees who earn maybe £150,000 per annum. So if you're starting £100 per day, no competition, obviously. But generally, contractors earn higher. I think the average contractor, a business analyst, who is, let's say, going for a business analyst role, not anything senior or lead, would usually earn between 350 to about 550 pounds per day. Now, this is before tax deductions. So you always have to remember that these figures are per day, but this is before you get your tax deducted. So yes, one of the highs of, pushing towards contracting is the higher pay. You get higher pay. That's just it. It is what it is. And then another one I put here is tax savings. So this is where the IR35 and inside IR35 and outside IR35 comes in, because inside, remember, the tax is deducted from source. Before it gets to you, it's already deducted by your umbrella company, and you have to use an umbrella company when you're working inside IR35. Unlike outside IR35, where you are paid the money directly into your account. So if they are paid a week, they calculate it 5 days times 500 and pay you the exact amount. And then at the end of the tax year, you and your accountant, or if, like I say, you're financially savvy, you do yourself, would sort out the taxes yourself. And this helps you have tax savings, because if you buy, for instance, a work computer, if you notice you may not have noticed it if you're not a contractor, but there's somewhere you can put that tax deductibles and you can claim your taxes back. I'm not going to claim to be an accountant to understand the whole financials behind that, but I know you can claim taxes back on multiple things, even things like renovating your office space as well. You can claim back dinner with clients, you can pay back parking tickets when you go to work or go for business, you can claim that. So there are a variety of things you can claim. So that tax savings is really good. And if you're a permanent staff, you do not get that. You don't get that tax deductibles, unfortunately. Then the next one is your own manager. Well, you're your own manager to an extent, because when you want to go for these bids or go for contracts, you select the jobs you want. So you could see maybe 2 or 3 job openings and decide to just go with the one that maybe you're interested in, you feel like this would make it better, or higher pay for you, proximity to your home, remote job, like literally a variety of things that options that I can use to determine what job you do. Unlike if you're a permanent staff in a company and maybe you guys are already working on a project and there are more projects, you can't dictate. Maybe you can choose between the limited two, but that's manager, you manage yourself. And even when you join the company, remember you're a contractor, so there are certain rules the company cannot necessarily impose on you, and there's some certain things they cannot say, oh, you have to come for team day, or no. It's your choice. So you manage yourself, you manage your time, you go, you get the job done, and you go to the next job. Oh yes, this is the perfect segue to the next point I have here, which is job variation. You literally have job variations. Most contracts would last, there are some contracts that are short as a month, some 3 months, some 6 months, some a year, some roll over until you get to 5 years. But yes, if you are one of those that are that don't like staying on a project for so long, contracting works for you, because you can decide to work for 6 months here, 6 months there, 3 months here, 3 months there, and have a variety of contracts that you can pick on, projects that you can work with, organizations. So today you could be working with, Tesco, and tomorrow you could be working with the Ministry of, Defense. So that's the variety. You could work in the private sector, you work in the public sector. There's so much variety, and even within each sector, there's so many places you can work in. So there's that variety as well. And this job variety helps you build network. So as you go to all these places, you're meeting people, you're building network. Unlike your counterparts who are on the permanent job, if they've been there for 20 years, it's the same people they're working with. If newbies come, yes, but literally, generally, it's the same people. Unlike you, in that 20 years, you would have worked in multiple different sectors, for multiple different industries, for multiple different companies, and, in the process, gathered a beautiful network. And this obviously allows you improve your chances of getting more job, because if maybe you've worked with Tesco before and another part of Tesco is calling you, because you've worked with them before, there's that communication, there's that knowledge that they know you. And like that, you can just get the contract because they have a surety that you've worked with them before. You understand their system, you understand people management and everything. So yeah, there are some beautiful advantages to contracting. I'm sure there are many more, but these are the ones I noted. Now, on to the downside, the disadvantages of contracting. And I think the major one that gets everybody kind of pausing before they actually take that step is job security. When you're a contractor, because you move from contract to contract, and your contract also may be limited to a particular project. So let's say you started a project, or you came in between doing a project. Once your project is done, they're not going to keep you on for just keeping you on sick. You're out. Your contract has ended. And once your contract has ended, you stop earning. Because as a contractor, you only earn when you work. So even if you're sick, even if you're on maternity, if you're on holiday, as long as you don't show up to work, I mean, you're sick, sorry, but you're not getting paid. And then when you're out of contract, yeah, I understand you're out of contract, I know you have skills, but you're not getting paid. And I know a lot of people don't say it. You can be lucky and get back-to-back contracts. Like after this one, maybe you end in July. By August, you're in a contract. You do August again. Finish in December. By Jan or Feb, you're in a contract. But there are sometimes there are no jobs. Or you go for interview, you don't get the job. And there are periods when you definitely would be out of contract. So my plan would be use that time to, one, develop yourself, go for courses, and also while you're balling, let's call it balling, while you're working, while you have your contract, you have to save for those rainy days. You cannot be thinking the money's going to keep coming, because once you're not working, you're not getting paid. So you always have to save for that period. So it's up to you to do the maths. I mean, if you've worked as a contractor before, you know that the rainy days are there, and you know that the rainy days will come. So you always have to budget for a period of time. Oh, I could be out of contract for 6 months. Make sure you have enough money to cover your basic necessities and even some more for that period. So, and I also advise, if you're a contractor, you should have other sources of income, because you can lose it. You could just go somewhere and fall sick. You could have an accident and not be able to perform work. So you know, an emergency can come and you lose payments for a couple of days or a couple of weeks. So you always have to be ahead of the step. Like, you have to be financially responsible, in all honesty, to be a contractor. So yeah, job security is crazy. Oh yeah, and then the next point I put here is admin, and I put like and a sad face, because you gotta do the admin, you gotta keep your receipts, you have to keep every single documentation. Now, this mostly pertains to those who work outside IR35, because you have to keep everything to be able to file your taxes at the end of the financial year. But in a way, it also pertains to those inside who work inside as well, because I mean, you have to manage your umbrella company, make sure your pay slips are getting to you, make sure everything you require. So you are still doing that management. Unlike when you're a permanent staff, that everything's just sorted by HR and you just get emails to say blah 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 blah. So there's that difference. And then applying for contracts. Oh my God, it feels like every 6 months or every 9 months or every 3 months, you're sitting down in front of a panel and essentially bidding your skills to them. It always feels like you're going for an interview or the other, and you can't relax. It's like you're always on the edge. So that's applying for contracts can get tiring. Well, like if you're in a permanent job and you've been there for 5 years, fine, it means you've not done an interview for that long. You're able to relax, you're confident, all those things. But with contracting, is the opposite. Imagine if you do a contract for 1 month, that means after 4 weeks, you're back again on that hot seat. And most times it's not like you get the first job or you only interview once, you interview multiple times. So there's that as well. There's that constant, applying for contracts. And you kind of always have to remain relevant. You have to have new skills. So imagine you're applying every month. The skills you had last 3 years may not be relevant now. I mean, in the video I did about AI, you see how things are changing. So you have to be up to date even more. And that's why I say the period where you're out of contract is very important. You train yourself, you use that period to build your skills so that you're not left behind. Because when you're contracting, it can be very intense. I mean, if someone is paying you 500 or 400 pounds per day, I expect you to give me the best. I don't expect rubbish. So you have to be on that. And this is a perfect segue into eligibility and benefits, eligibility of benefits. So because you're a contractor, unfortunately, nobody's looking out for you. You're all on your own. No sick pay, no holiday benefits, no maternity benefits. For us women, no maternity benefits. So for that 9 months, in the UK, the standard maternity, it's 9 months. For that 9 months, you're not getting paid. You're not getting any payment from your employer. You are entitled to the maternity benefit of £600, which I don't think has changed, and if it has, by maybe a few pounds. But that's all you're going to get. So for 9 months, while you're not working, fam, there is no money. So no benefit at all. You get an injury, sorry, no benefit. Some companies are really good. They have like all these car schemes, cycle to work schemes. You're not getting any of that. Some have all these really nice discounts that they have with different companies that you can use to purchase like items at a discounted price. You're not getting any of that. So literally, just when you're your own boss, unless you decide to give yourself those benefits, and no benefit coming for you. So like I said, it does have its downsides, but I mean, it can have its good sides. So you just weigh yourself and see. Even free training. Oh, I wrote it here as kind of like a different point, but if you work for some organizations, they'll train you like a business analyst. They'll give you business analyst courses, product manager courses, PMP, project, like Prince 2. There's so many courses your companies will pay for you for free. And if you've done these courses before on your own, you know how expensive it can be. You're not going to get that. Sabbatical. I remember at one company I was working, if you had worked in the company for 5 years or 10 years, I can't remember, you're allowed to take a year sabbatical. Imagine just going a year and know that your job is waiting for you. You don't have to go and interview anywhere. You just come back and flow back into your job. You don't have that while contracting. I mean, you can take sabbatical, but what if you come back and the industry has left you? So that's it. So yes, advantages and disadvantages of contracting. Now let's go into permanent work. I don't think I need to describe permanent work for anybody, but permanent work is when you apply for a company, they employ you, and they take you as their full-time or part-time or flexible working staff. But essentially, you work for the company. I don't want to say own you, but they're your boss. They're your bosses, and they dictate what you do. Now, the first advantage obviously is job security. Don't mind me, I'm being a little animated, but yeah, it's job security. And if you have been working in the last 3 years, COVID, contractors were the first to go, like, yeah, contractor out. We are trying to save money out. But for full-time staff, yes, I know there were some people that were let go, but there were a lot of people that were placed on furlough. Even the government placed them on furlough, there was that. Or you go on maternity, you know that when you come back, obviously if you follow the rules or the HR rules, each company has their own different rules, you have your job waiting for you. Most times actually, even if you just started, you have your job waiting for you. It's just that you may not get the full benefit. Or you fall sick. Most companies have the number of sick days you can take. Some companies are even nice, they'll give you, what do they call it, family day, or they'll give you personal days off. And all this are paid. You've got holiday, so you could jet to, I don't know, Portugal, go to Lisbon, go to Lagos, enjoy yourself for 3 weeks, knowing you're going to get paid. Unlike a contractor that while he's enjoying away, he's already calculating how much he's losing. That's the perk of that. The job security is amazing. And obviously, the longer you stay in a company, the more secure kind of are in your job, because obviously you have given them loyalty and they'll give you loyalty back. And then the next one is belonging to a team. Now this is beautiful because if you're working, you understand that like going for fag breaks. Now I don't smoke, but when my colleagues are going for fag break, I'll go with them. We'll chat, making coffee for your team. If you have all those nice company, you guys will do like team day where you guys go to a game center, or you do something cool. Like I work for this really cool company where we'll go to each of the branches within the UK. And even before I joined them, they used to go to like each of the branches around the world. So it could be Portugal, it could be Dubai. Like they used to all meet up. It could be America. America will come to the UK. Portugal the team will go to Portugal. Like all those team day things, they're so nice. Those are nice perks because you get to travel with fun people, people that you work with. But I mean, if they're fun, you get to have those Friday night drinks. So after work, you just go to the pub, have some drinks, chill out, Christmas parties. Now I'm not saying a contractor cannot be invited, but almost rare. Let me not lie, it's rare. They'll leave you. They'll pay for themselves and they'll leave you. So that belonging to a team is really nice. I have enjoyed it in different companies I've worked for. The perks are amazing. So that's one thing, belonging to a team. And then there's progression of opportunity. As a permanent staff, you have the opportunity to get promoted. You have the opportunity to, like I said, get a lot of training that will help you get promoted. These reviews could be annually. Sometimes it's based on performance, bonuses, all those packages. They are amazing. As a contractor, on the other hand, nobody probably will do. If they even tell you thank you for the work you've done, just take it and go. Because sometimes they're just like, we expect it of you, the contractor, do it. So, yes, you miss out on all those like promotional perks and everything. And then what I have here, the next point I have here is additional benefits. Like you have a range of benefits that accrue to you. Like I mentioned earlier when I was mentioning disadvantages of being a contractor, you get things like car allowances, cycle to work scheme. Some companies they have really good maternity packages. Like somebody will tell you, some companies will tell you you can take a whole year. Because in the UK you can actually take a whole year with your leave. But some companies say you can take a whole year and it's paid full. Do you know how relaxing that would be for a mother who just had a baby? A mom with a newborn. Knowing she's getting paid full for a year. That's like, you're sorted. Like, it's so good. And then you get to come back to the work, and some are even nice. They have flexible working. They have daycare facilities. This is even making me salivate. It's so amazing. Some cool places, you have free lunch, you have like gym attached to them. Like there's so many perks and benefits working for a company. Some have nice, really nice healthcare packages. Like, I mean, if you live in the UK and you have struggled to get an appointment with NHS, and then you just have one perfect private hospital, say, those benefits are almost, they're amazing. And then finally, you've got training and development. Like, they're always invested in your training because you're working for them. You've been with them. So that knowledge you're going to get, it's not just for you. They're going to put it into using their projects. It's going to be very helpful. Imagine if they train you, came in as a business analyst, they train you as a project manager. That's double on your skills, double rolled now. That you didn't pay for. You just came in, showed your work, and the training was available. You registered, and that's it. I even worked for one awesome company where they had like it was kind of like a monthly thing. Every month they had different like speakers come, and it's not always just like tech and everything project. Sometimes it was personal things. So there's also personal development. It could be public speaking. It could be presentation. And I think there was one time we had a talk on neurodiversity. This is about being on the spectrum. Before then, man, I didn't even know that word. I can't lie. But I felt so enlightened after listening to that seminar. So it has this really good perk, those training and development. But everything good also has some disadvantages. Don't want to say bad side, just disadvantages, because I know that problem. And one of the obvious ones is the salary. You generally would have a lower salary than your counterpart who is a contractor. And I mean, to me, if you enter to other benefits, because if you quantify those things in cash, you may almost be getting to the same thing. But I mean, I have to mention the low remuneration. And then there's also a little bit of limitation. I mean, you can't bounce around, like I said. So a contractor can do a project. Maybe he can work on a project on a learner management system here and goes to another company and is working on maybe a project for data migration. You know, there's a lot of variety, so he can improve his skills faster, obviously depending on what he's doing. But he has that option. He has that option, unlike a permanent staff who is limited to the contract the company either accepts if they're a consultancy or the company is working on if you're working in the IT department. Although to be fair, there's a way to move around that. If you work for a consultancy who takes jobs from different sectors, you'll be lucky. You may have variety in projects. Now, obviously, with the limitations come less experience, unlike your contractor counterpart, who has had to maybe make friends with each of the people he goes to, familiarize himself with different systems he's using on different projects. There is more experience in that than working for a company. Now, this is not to say that permanent staff are generally less experienced. No, because while you are building on that one thing, you become very good at it. I mean, they say jack of all trades, master of none, although there's still more to that sentence. But yes, you can become the perfect thing in that particular system you're working on, while a contractor has the variety to go. So generally, less experience. And that goes, all these things I'm saying also go with lack of flexibility in how much work, your work routine. I mean, it's almost the same thing year in, year out. It's like year one, the same thing, year two, the same thing, year three, the same thing. Imagine if you have an annoying boss. Oh my God, I see you every single day. I work with you every single day. But yes, it's so annoying. Like if you're contracting, yeah, you're good, you're horrible. After 6 months, hasta la vista, baby. I'm out. I can go to the next place. I mean, that one still has a disadvantage because you can have good here, bad here, good here, bad here. But that's, yeah. And also job variation. So there may not be a lot of variety in your day-to-day work, which I said, they all kind of squash into the same thing. You're kind of just limited and don't have a lot of variety to choose from. But yes, so that's it. That's what I have today for the advantages of working as a permanent staff or as a contracting staff. So tell me what you think. Are you a contractor? These disadvantages I mentioned, do you think about them? Are they really bugging you, or do you say it's worth it? Or are you a permanent staff, and what perks do you enjoy? Please put it in the comment section. And I would like to say that there is no harm in working on either of them. So you could be a permanent staff who eventually migrates and become a contract staff, and you could be a contracting staff who says, oh, I'm tired of all this uncertainty and I want to become a permanent staff anyway. You can move across. Obviously, there's some things that stop you from moving across at different times. An example is experience. I'm going to do a video on what it takes to become a contractor, how you can migrate from being a permanent staff to being a contractor. So stay tuned and watch out. Thank you guys so much for watching today. Please subscribe to our channel. It's growing little by little. We're trying to be more consistent. So please subscribe to our channel on YouTube here, Learn with AB, and on Instagram as well. It's called Learn with AB. And we also have a YouTube channel where it's simply AB Obiechina. I've tried to make it harmonize across Learn with AB. I don't know what's stopping it from changing, but I'm still working on it. So please subscribe to our channel. And like I said also, I have started taking mentees, especially if you have an interview coming right up. You can send me an email to ab.obiechina@bventures.co.uk. I'm booking your 1 hour slot with me. We can discuss and then we can practice about your interview so you feel more confident. You feel confident, you have better package for you to go for your interview. Thank you very much, guys. Please share this video, like it, spread the word, tell a friend to tell a friend, tell your family members, tell your neighbor, tell your neighbor's neighbor, and spread the word of Learn with AB. Thank you. Bye.